So I got to put my actual hands, on a brand new Elecraft K4. Now, I didn't buy this radio, and it wasn't loaned to me by Elecraft, but a friend of mine, Jim, he got one. He ordered one early on, back in Dayton of 2019, I think it was. We're going to talk to him here in a minute. But he let me come over and with my camera and take some video. This is going to be a high-level overview of the Elecraft K4. This is a really cool-looking radio, so I hope you enjoy it.
Shut up and sit down.
All right, I got a chance to tinker around with my actual hands. This is my hand here. Yeah. My actual hands on a K4 is a brand new Elecraft K4, and you said it was the D model.
Yes, K4D. They make a K4, K4D, and a K4 HD, which they haven't
released that one yet. Okay, yeah. So the difference between the K4 and the K4D is that this one has true dual receiver, dual VFOs.
Basically, that's it.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
To whatever they call
MCU.
A to D converters and stuff.
Yeah, the MC. I think Flex calls it an MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that may not be what they call it here. But okay, good. So this is the K4 actual setup in the actual ham shack right now. So special thanks to my friend Jim, Whiskey 5 Alpha Papa. Great setup he's got here. And you can see the difference in size between the K3S on the left and the K4 on the right, because it's a little bit taller, it's a little bit wider this way. Of course, it's got a much bigger screen, much touch screen. Go here. I'm going to go through some of the menus here in a minute. This is not going to be a complete review because this thing, you could spend an hour on a video on this thing and still not get everything. But obviously this one doesn't have a touch screen. This is older. I actually just picked one of these up used on the QRZ swap pages. I'm looking forward to getting it, so you'll see some videos on that later. But this is an excellent radio. I've used it several times in Costa Rica with Jim's permission, because he's had one for a long time. And that's the Flex. This is the Maestro, which you guys have seen on my channel before. So there's all three of them together. So you can see the size. And I just learned today that this one is actually the casing that this one is in, the actual case here that this one is in, is the same case that they put the KPA 1500 amplifier in. So if you have a K4 and a KPA 1500, it's going to be the same, like stackable type things. So they're going to look pretty similar in size and look like they go together, which of course is the point. So you can see on the front here, there's your power button. We've got buttons for most everything. They've got one USB on the port on the front here, and a 1/4-inch jack for headphones. And of course, that's your 8-pin microphone there. And then they've got all these buttons here that control this touchscreen feature right there. So you've got microphone, power out, bandwidth, your shift, MREF. That's something about your MREF, and SREF is what, something about your RF gain?
AF gain. Yeah, RF gain.
RF gain. And so you can switch back and forth by pressing in this button, or you can touch screen it however you want to do that. So you can change controls there. They've got balance in yellow and then RF squelch. So it's dual button. Actually, it's almost like 4 actions on the button there. Right. So there's your volume control, which of course is, and then a sub-volume control, because it does have dual VFOs, so you can listen to 2 bands at the same time. So that's kind of fun. Now here's the thing. Jim showed me this before we started the camera a minute ago, and I thought that this was really fun. This right here, if you go in here, actually it was in function, yeah. Okay, so if you go to function and DX list, it has an entire list of all the prefixes in the world. And you can search with the search tool here. So yeah, there's 9 Alpha, that's Croatia. I know for a fact that's Croatia, 9 Alpha right there. And there's Malta, 9 Hotel. So it's got the entire DX prefix list right here in the radio. So if you want to look up something, guess what? It's right here at your fingertips. You don't have to go to the computer, pull up your phone or something like that. There's KL7K. KH6 and KH7 is Hawaii, of course. Kilo Hotel. Kilo Lima, which I'm not seeing that one in here. No, there it is right there. Alaska, Kilo Lima, Alpha Lima, November Lima. Those are Alaska stations. It's got the entire, if you go here, it's got the entire Elecraft K4 operating manual right there in the touchscreen. So you can, so you're like, oh man, I want to know how to do XYZ. You can pull up the manual right here on the screen of the radio. So that's pretty fun. So I thought those were a couple of really neat features that, there we go, that they have here in the radio. And it's got places for expansion later. If we go here, and here's how you can set up your different ports and serial ports, RS-232, USB. If you go here, let's see, display, right there, you can, obviously, it's got HDMI out on the back of the radio. I'm going to show you the back of the radio here in a minute. So those of you complaining about DVI out on some of the other models, this one doesn't have that problem. But we've got here, okay, so right here on main receive, we got a couple of things here, but then they've got 2 blank buttons over here. So that tells me that they have expansion plans for this later on. And I'll show you, I'll show you on the back of the radio some more expansion stuff for that. So, but that is what the front of the radio looks like. Very nice looking screen.
This you just plug in a USB drive and you back up the whole computer.
You back up everything?
Back up the radio, right.
Okay.
So I've got a little USB drive. I just do that. Yeah.
Okay, so if you ever have a crash or a firmware update or something, you could just reload all your settings?
Right.
Okay.
Or change operators or whatever you do.
Oh, okay, good. That's kind of fun too. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then they've got the subband. You can turn the subband off and on. Like right now, we're just receiving on 17 meter CW. Gosh, if I could talk. 17 meter FT8. That's the 17 meter FT8 frequency right there. And then we've got 40 meter CW set up on the side, and we can turn the subband off and on to where it's both VFOs are in there now. So, is there a way to configure this to where it's 2 waterfalls, one for each VFO?
Yes.
There is a way to do that? Okay, we just don't have that set up right now. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, on the back of the radio, we've got 3 antenna ports natively, and again, room for expansion because there's an antenna 4 right here. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. But it's got a blank in it. There's no SO239 in there. So that tells me that perhaps the HD model will have that, or
I think so.
Perhaps that's something that they'll expand later on for the... No, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. So you've got, there's your... Oh, it's got power poles for power connector. That's kind of neat. That's one of the things about the Flex I always really liked. Ethernet, more USB ports in the back. You got a PC USB port, which is the USB-B. There's your video out. That's HDMI out right there. So no more DVI out on like some of the ICOMs and Yaesus have, but it's got actual HDMI out. And it's got, let's see, 2 ports for an RX antenna in and out. 2 ports for a transverter IF in and out. And then TX SMPL. I'm not sure what that is.
That's probably for a frequency standard.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So maybe a frequency standard there. And dual fans in the back, which run. I can sort of hear the fans right now that I'm sitting here next to them. I sort of hear some air moving, but I can't really hear the fans. They're nice and quiet. So, but that is that's a first look at the K4, guys. One of my most popular videos was when I interviewed Eric from Elecraft at the 2019 Dayton Hamvention, and then again several months later at the 2020 Orlando Hamcation. And that was right before COVID started and caused all these delays and shipping and parts and shortages and whatnot. So, but these did finally start to ship. How long have you had this?
I've had this about a month now.
About a month? Okay. So we're recording this in early December, so he's had it maybe since early November, something like that. So they are starting to ship. But you ordered it in 2019, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually put money down.
Yeah.
About a year ago.
I was thinking that you had been one of the early orders of it. But prior to this, Jim had about every other Elecraft there was. He had 2 K3S's and a K3 and...
KX3.
Okay, you had a KX3 too?
Yeah.
I have a KX3 right now too. So
I need a KX2, of course.
Right. Well, so here's what I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping the KX4 is this screen in a little box. Like the KX3 size radio with this screen in it. Yeah. So it's almost like a Maestro, but that's an actual radio.
The KX3 is an SDR radio too.
Yes, they're all SDR, but it's not touchscreen and all this other kind of fancy waterfall stuff. The K3, the 3 and X3 series don't have waterfalls.
And myself and everybody else is looking forward to the K4 Mini, which
now tell me about that. What's a K4 Mini?
K4 Mini is going to be similar to a Flex Maestro, an awful lot smaller, and it's going to allow you to operate this remotely.
They had one of those for the K3, didn't they?
They have a K3
The
Mini.
K3
Yep.
Mini. It just looks like the face.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
So
I got you.
I assume the K4 Mini will just look like the face of the K4 unless they come out with something like a KX3 Mini or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
That's going to be nice.
Uh-huh.
But it's not out yet, and it's just in the planning stages, I guess. Maybe
Yeah.
working it out.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
That'd be really nice.
Because we want to remote these things. for
Sure. Yeah, that's a great thing about Flex and Elecraft and several others. They have excellent remote capabilities. So, but you could put one of these. You could put one of these in one location and have another one here, and the Elecrafts will control other Elecrafts in other locations. So that's always been fun. You don't have to have the Mini to do that, but the Mini's probably a lot cheaper than buying a whole nother new radio. So that's a good thing there. But more to come on the Elecraft K4 as time goes on. Thanks to Jim, Whiskey 5 Alpha Papa, for letting me tinker around in his shack this afternoon. But this is a neat radio. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and who's planning on getting one of these, or maybe which one of you actually already has one. And send me some pictures of it, because I would like to see what it looks like in your shack. I may have to add it to my wish list for Santa, but it's probably too late in the year for that. So, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below.